Why is Trump's opinion better on this issue?
So I'll tell you why. I think climate change does not rank as a top 100 issue for Americans today. I think, and here's why. Here's why. Before I get into actually just a little bit of history here, I'm in a little bit of a historical mode today. Charlie said they've been saying that for 30 years, and that's right, that we only have another 10 years left. Actually, it's a little longer than that, Charlie. It goes back to the 1970s. So if you pull up the cover of Newsweek or Time magazine, back in the day, they used to have these things called magazines that were like paper copies of things they mailed to people's homes. But, you know, I was alive when that happened. They had these Newsweek and Time magazines they would mail to your home. On the cover of it was warning of the effects of global climate change. Unless we stop burning fossil fuels, we're actually going to have, not global warming, but an ice age. That's what scientists, as recently as the 1970s, were worried about. What they realized was that actually they started tracking these global surface temperatures, and they weren't really going down. We're not on our way to that ice age. At which point they just changed their mind and said, oh, actually the real problem isn't the global ice age. No, it's actually the other thing, because temperatures are going up a little bit. Let's call it global warming. Now there were a few years through 2012, about a 5-year streak where temperatures came down. They still didn't change that strand. So now what are the actual facts we have? I don't care about what somebody calling themselves a scientist says. I care about what the actual facts
There's
say.
Facts that the hottest year on record.
So I'll give, it happens to be a subject that I have studied quite deeply, and I'll give you hard facts on this without opinions. Are global surface temperatures going up by a little bit? Number one, yes they are. Number two, is that directly attributable to carbon dioxide? Far more controversial. You can actually look at the, let me ask you a question. What percentage of the atmosphere do you think is comprised of by carbon dioxide today?
I know that is a non sequitur.
I'm asking a question.
It's a very small percentage.
Yes.
Nitrogen makes up. We don't breathe nitrogen. I could raise the argument. Why
Right,
do
so
we need oxygen? Of course we need.
Just for
Carbon
people in the room
dioxide
to
can
know.
still have an impact.
If I may, 0.04% is carbon dioxide today. That is one of the all-time lows in the history of the Earth. And in fact, in most periods where carbon dioxide was a higher percentage of the global atmosphere, you actually had ice ages on Earth. So the idea that carbon dioxide is responsible for this slight increase of global surface temperatures is itself at least questionable. But here's the big question that nobody asks, and we got to get to it.